Hello, I'm Wei Feng of Group 1, which comprises of me, Jedidiah, Zhonghan, Kai Feng, and Cheng Feng. We'll be talking about a trending topic in genetic engineering today, designer babies. Unborn babies whose genes are modified to become the perfect baby. In this podcast, we'll be examining the pros, as well as the cons of designer babies, and aim to let you decide what is best for everyone.
The benefits of designer babies are endless. Say you like a child with blue eyes. You can modify the genes involved in your child so blue eyes will be developed during growth. Or maybe you're a couple who either cannot have children due to faulty genes, or you're at risk of transferring genes infected with diseases. Genetic engineering solves all this. One such example is Miss Philippa Handyside, who could only have her child through genetic engineering as her DNA had issues with birth. This meant that every time she got pregnant, she would suffer a miscarriage. In the end, she sought help and used a technique called pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, which screens a womb for healthy embryos to implant. This can allow researchers to not only study diseases in depth, but to also contribute to the successful development of future stem cell therapies. So, genetic engineering can be beneficial and increases chances of childbirth.
Moreover, designer babies may be also created to help another in need. Parents may have a child suffering from a disease and in need of an organ or blood transplant. Imagine the scenario: you have a child suffering from leukemia, cancer, the blood or bone marrow. He needs a bone marrow donation or he will die young. You and your husband or wife are not matches for his bone marrow. You are, however, able to have another child. Through designer babies, they could create a perfect match for your child's blood, bone marrow, or other organ.
On the other hand, however, the cons are much more devastating than one can imagine. There's the possibility of irreversibly altering the human species, undermining humanity, and creating a techno-eugenic rat race if used for non-medical, cosmetic purposes. Right now, in many countries, this form of genetic engineering is being used to avoid the birth of female children. If made available to the public, the more affluent couples might use these technologies in unethical ways to increase inequality, resulting in genetic elites and the objectification of children as commodities.
Another con is the possibility of cloning. Most serious scientists wouldn't consider cloning humans simply because less than 10% of non-animal cloning procedures are successful, causing pregnancies to result in miscarriage or deformities. A sign that this process is too dangerous to produce a human body. Remember the clone sheep Dolly? No scientific discovery has created as much hysteria as the news of the successful cloning of Dolly. Ever since then, there have been claims that humans have been or soon will be cloned, though no one has produced evidences of a human clone.
There are also other issues at hand, like religious issues. In 2008, the Vatican released a 32-page document, the Dignitas Personae, which states that designer babies, animal or human hybrids, cloning, stem cell research, and a host of common biomedical innovations are forbidden. Though gene therapies and some fertility treatments are acceptable, this comes from the belief that such practices are immoral because they are against the law of nature. However, Muslims appear to believe that even if technology is involved, it's perfectly okay. Also, if such technologies were to be funded by the government, most, if not all people, would be up in arms over this, because the money comes from the taxes the people pay. And government will set up such technologies without the consensus of the people. They will come under fire from the citizens for money minded.
The final con is the fact that designer babies themselves are already wrong. This is because these babies have absolutely no idea what is being done to them, nor can they give their consent to have their bodies changed. They are also living things before they are born, and actual people once they are born. Thus, these babies have their own rights and they should be considered before modifications are done to their bodies.
Madam Craig clearly expresses opinions. This is all very interesting and thought-provoking. I think this technology could play a rather interesting role in the future, even when it's developed. Are people willing to use this technology for cosmetic reasons? Yes, but I think the possibility of pre-diagnosing illnesses like autism and Down syndrome will be such a great thing, because then families will have to deal with those illnesses won't have to. There's a possibility of misusing abortion and the possibility of countless families from the because there are so many negatives as well as positives. It does make the topic of design baby kind of hard to decipher.
In summary, there are many pros and cons to genetic engineering. While you can modify your child to have favorable qualities such as colored eyes, a higher IQ for an academic career, or a stronger body for a sports career, you can also treat diseases such as autism or Down syndrome. This ensures your child not only has a normal life, he can also have an easier time in his life as well. However, there's always the risk of failing and disfiguring the child mentally and or physically, or maybe even death.
There will always be the possibility that genetic engineering technologies may be used to create designer children, but fortunately, the technical difficulties will make it difficult for anyone to do so in the long term. Meanwhile, we have to continue to debate on this issue so that proper rules and regulations can be established before technology is completely accessible to the masses. Though designer babies sound like a great idea, we must remember that these flaws make them undesirable in the long term.